guidance of His Grace Kanai Thakur Guru. So sing Jai Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhav is also Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's composition. And Srila Prabhupada said it's a perfect description of Vrindavan Dham. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तनम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील भक्तिविनोद ठाकुर की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, शिशि गौनिताई की जय। हरे कृष्ण। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतः पदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratvishe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So I sincerely feel grateful and also seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas.
Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate to have His Grace Antardvip Prabhu with us. His Grace Antardvip Prabhu, मैं उनके बारे में केवल एक चीज़ बोल सकता हूँ तो शायद इंट्रोडक्शन उस दिन में बहुत वहीं समाप्त कर सकते हैं कि राधे श्याम प्रभु कह रहे थे रिसेंटली, ये बहुत बार कहते हैं, रिसेंटली कह रहे थे कि अभी मैं अमेरिका जा रहा हूँ, मुझे साल में 2 बार प्रचार करने जाना पड़ता है और भारत में भ्रमण कर रहा हूँ, इतना सारे इस्कॉन का सब बढ़ रहा है और राधे श्याम प्रभु वैसे यूथ प्रीचिंग के लिए बहुत पहचाने जाते हैं। तो राधे श्याम प्रभु कह रहे थे कि अभी मैं पूरे विश्वास के साथ कह सकता हूँ कि मेरे बाद अंतर्दीप प्रभु इस सेवा को पूरी अच्छी तरीके से चलाएंगे। मैं पूरे विश्वास के साथ इस सेवा को उनके ऊपर छोड़ सकता हूँ। तो सालों साल उन्होंने राधे श्याम प्रभु के लिए बहुत अच्छा असिस्टेंस का एक सेवा किया है। पूरा वो अभी सेक्रेटरी हैं हमारे यूथ वॉइस प्रीचिंग के। पूरे इंडिया भर में जितना भी प्रचार चलता है वर्ल्ड भर में वो उनके थ्रू कोऑर्डिनेशन करके राधे श्याम प्रभु के बाद वो कोऑर्डिनेशन करते हैं और इस प्रकार से सेवा बहुत अच्छे से चल रहा है। अभी वो भी पूरे इंडिया में जाकर अलग अलग कॉलेजेस में जाकर सब जगह जाकर सब प्रीचर्स जो हैं, प्रीचर्स को कैसे गाइडेंस करना है, उनको असिस्टेंस करना है, उसके लिए वो सेवा करते हैं। आज भी वो हैदराबाद की तरफ जा रहे थे लेकिन हमने रोक लिया इधर पे कि आप इधर आइए, क्लास दीजिए, उसके बाद जाइए। क्योंकि कई बार मैंने प्रयत्न किया कि उनको मैं बुला सकूं और उस प्रकार राधे श्याम प्रभु बहुत प्रसन्न होंगे, मुझे पता है कि वो यहाँ पर विशाल नगर पे आए हैं। तो आइए हम उनका स्वागत करेंगे एक बार। हरे कृष्ण, लेट अस वेलकम हिम। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा। तो एक्चुअली श्रीमान कन्हैया ठाकुर प्रभु मेरे प्रेरणा के बहुत बड़े स्रोत हैं। प्रभु जी जब मैं आश्रम ज्वाइन किया तो जब आया था घर से जो भी हुआ था सिचुएशन, उसके बाद मैं आके प्रभु जी को बोला कि थोड़ा अभी मुश्किल है हृदय में। प्रभु जी बोले कोई बात नहीं, सब ठीक हो जाएगा। तो प्रभु जी हैज़ बीन ऑलवेज वेरी encouraging and प्रभु जी इज़ very very wonderful example. He is actually like he was sharing that I am trying to coordinate something under Radheshyam Prabhu, but actually Radheshyam Prabhu has very able commanders under him, like Kanai Thakur Prabhu and many others all over India, who are actually spearheading many important missions that Radheshyam Prabhu wanted for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and the Parampara. And some people need more mercy to remain directly under the cozy guidance of the Vaishnavas. So I'm there in that kind of a role. And I also see many wonderful devotees who have come through the very able preaching of His Grace Kanai Thakur Prabhu, both in the Brahmacharya ashram and the Grihastha ashram. And such wonderful qualities they have, such wonderful, they express all dedication to Srila Prabhupada in mission also, and very wonderful Vaishnav dealings. So very exemplary community, and this Vishal Nagar, as it's just exploding preaching here, I'm sure it's all because all of you are so wonderful Vaishnavas and Kanai Thakur Prabhu and many other devotees who have actually invested their consciousness here. It's because of all that hard work and blessings of Srila Prabhupada. So I am blessed that I am today here, and also blessed especially because today Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's appearance day is there, and I can speak something following in the footsteps of the Acharyas to repeat the glorification of the masters as Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I cannot speak, um, I will speak as like the bird flies as per its capacity in the sky. It cannot reach the sun. So I seek the blessings of all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis assembled for the same. Hare Krishna. So before we begin, I'll just chant the pranati of Bhaktivinoda Thakur to invoke his blessings. Namo Bhaktivinodaya Satchidananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Varayate. Hare Krishna. So this one more disclaimer as plus acknowledgement of appreciation. So this I'm not showing the PPT, but the PPT was actually made based on the seventh Goswami by His Grace Mukundanand Prabhu. He gave this seminar to us in 2018, and it was so intoxicating the way he was sharing. So I just seek his blessings also, and all what I will speak is like, in parampara from Rupa Vilas Prabhu to Mukundanand Prabhu, and then to so this. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life is, we can actually meditate. All the wonderful Acharyas' lives are, Acharya means who teaches by example. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life is so exemplary that it helps us to, Srila Prabhupada used to say that we should learn the very sincere dedication and commitment one should have to the mission of the Acharya, the Lord. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life is very, very exemplary, especially many times with devotion, how to balance one's own duties in life, how to be very exemplary in the outside world also and be devotee also. Sometimes people have confusion, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur had such a great example that no one can actually doubt after that, then one can practice bhakti with full force in the Grihastha ashram also. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that one should not judge the life of Bhaktivinoda Thakur as an ordinary life, although in part of his life he is also he begins his journey of search for the truth in studying the Western theology and all. So, but actually he's the Nitya Siddha Kamal Manjari, and he has descended to share. And as we hear the pastime, you will understand it's not possible no, just by some ordinary person. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Vaishnavera Kriya Mantra Vijnana Bhujaya. Just like Arjun was apparently bewildered on the battlefield, or Ramananda Rai's activities where he would be dealing with the Devadasis, or Mukunda Sarkar was apparently an ordinary physician, or Pundrik Vidyanidhi looked like an attached householder. So all these examples he shares and says that we should not judge the Vaishnava by seeing his externals. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wrote hundreds of books, and there's a book, big glossary in, the titles of the books itself goes in pages after pages, some 20 pages of, titles only are going on, book is different, so, so you'll see if time permits all the list also. So he discovered the Yoga Peeth. He actually revived the Krishna consciousness program, and in a very difficult age. Actually, that time Vaishnavism was considered as if they're like the Bhikaris. And many Sahajiya groups had come up, Aula, Baula, and all, many Apasampradayas had come up. So in that area, that era, one had to, he wanted to establish the pure teachings of Lord Chaitanya again. He himself had to work for so many years to find a bona fide copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Now we just go to Jeevdev or just online order one. So it takes a lot to do that. And he established 500 Namatta programs in just 2 years of his part of the whole Leela. So, and where 2,000 people were attending in every 500, so like that. So very powerful personality. So there is one Shishir Kumar Ghosh who was a very close friend of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He was the editor of Amrit Bazar Patrika, which is that time the largest circulated daily newspaper. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur helped him edit also. So he only actually awarded the life and dedication of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and awarded him the title the seventh Goswami. The seventh Goswami is not a title given by some Vaishnava, but Shishir Kumar Ghosh, seeing the powerful preaching of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he understood. He said, I have heard about the six Goswamis, but I never got to see them. But seeing you, I can understand that Goswamis must be very powerful, and you are the seventh Goswami. So the seventh Goswami title is given by Shishir Kumar Ghosh. And eventually his grandson, Tarun Kanti Ghosh, he came to Srila Prabhupada and helped a lot in Mayapur. So he was in his appearance happened in 1838 September as Kedarnath Dutt. His father's name was Anand Chandra Dutt and mother's name was Jagat Mohini Devi. He was born in Ulagram in Nadia district. So this Ulagram is actually a very powerful place. We may not know now. Now we know Calcutta in West Bengal. But Calcutta was established by some of the descendants in the lineage of Raghunath Das Goswami. And they came from one of the villages to come to Calcutta and establish Calcutta. Now Calcutta is the city based on Raghunath Das Goswami. Some people did it. No? So our acharyas, some people did some things which now the world is actually seeing. No? And Ulagram was also one of the seats of very powerful Brahmanas. 1,500 Brahmana families were there, and out of that one was the Datta family. And they were so opulent at that time that every son in the family had a pet elephant. Not toy elephant, a real elephant. So, and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur learned from his gatekeeper, who was actually an ex-dacoit. He learned the Ramayana and Mahabharata. He used to tell Ramayana Mahabharata stories. Dacoit, Chaukidar was the dacoit. And when he heard Ramayana Mahabharata from this dacoit Chaukidar Prabhu, so he was very touched by Ramayana and Mahabharata, and thus he wanted to dive more into the scriptures. In 1845, so he was only age 7, he entered Krishnanagar College, and professors were appreciative of his proficiency in English language at age 7 also. And all his life, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's life is filled with a lot of ups and downs, a lot of sickness, family, got completely finished in a very short time, means the father and all. So one can actually understand how a person can remain steadfast in practice of devotion service and his mission, despite all the odds that may come externally in life. So that is a very great lesson to learn as we just read through the pastime of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In 1846, at the age of 8, Kali Prasan, Harichandra and Gauridas, his 3 brothers, left their body. And because 3 brothers left the body, his father also within 1 year, because of the shock of 3 sons leaving the body, he also left the body. So practically his mother was there, and it was a very big shock. And then he became very inquisitive at that age only, at the age of 8, that what is life, why people go through this whole suffering, then what is life and death. So he started having questions on that, and he started reading Vedanta, Bible, Quran, all the types of philosophical literatures, whatever was available. And at that time, actually, British were very much into trying to push forward Bible. So he got a lot of Bible and all, but he was not satisfied with all the answers which were coming. So he was in search. In 1850, at the age of 12, that time, he got married as with Shaimani Devi. And he got immediately very sick also, with blood dysentery, body itch and skin disease and all. Then some person told that one local doctor is there. His name is Fakir Golok. And he treated him and he became fine. And the Fakir Golok said that today, seeing you, I make 2 predictions. That this hometown, Ulagram, will be completely devastated by cholera. And second is, you will become a very great Vaishnava Acharya in future. No? So Fakir Golok was some kind of fakir. 1856, at the age of 18, 1857, that freedom fight, we hear about that Jallianwala massacre and all. So he joined the Calcutta University, and there Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, who was a prominent scholar and famous professor, you must have heard his name. So that time he was like part of like his friend circle, and they had all English club. And in the English club, his English was amazing. So everyone appreciated his English, and he had regular meetings and debates. And just as a first offering of writing, he started writing at this age. And as the first offering of writing to offer to the English club, he wrote the King Porus life story in 2 volumes, with Alexander the Great. Means not 2 volumes, sorry, 30 volumes. He wrote a very huge magnum opus on King Porus, and people were amazed. After that, he wrote one more second book, 25-volume Vikram Betal stories. So, so this is his. He started actually. He understood writing is his just natural flow. So he wrote many more books also. Actually, the documentation here is only of books, and articles they are saying that they are unlimited, and thus we can't document. And in the end, they say this books list also is not complete. So this is what we are able to document. As the book ends like that. In 1857, at the age of 19, he met Professor Dell. So we have Dell computer sometime, but by remembering Dell, you can think of immediately Bhaktivinoda Thakur now. so, so he was very impressed also by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And then he saw that he's writing so much. So he asked a question that you are writing so much, but what is the use of all this writing? What is the ultimate goal of what you are doing, all these books? So this question triggered a query in the heart of Bhaktivinoda Thakur that, what is the goal? What is the goal? More deeply he started thinking. And actually all these things, like he's telling about Professor Dell and all this, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur only in 1886, one of his sons, Lalita Prasad, he asked him that, Father, what happened in your life? Please tell your life story. So on the spot, he started telling, a 200-page book came out, Swalikhita Jivani, based on the details of all the dates and the place and the names of the people, all that he told. He knew everything actually. So he also had good close relationship with the Tagore family, all the Tagore family, Rabindranath Tagore and others. So they also valued him very much actually. In 1858, at the age of 19, he got a first job. Actually, he changed jobs so many times. Till the age of 27, his job life was quite unstable. He became a school teacher for Standard 2 and his salary was rupees 15. And in few months only his job got changed and multiple transfers happened. He was also sick throughout his life was quite filled with sickness. In age of 19, 1859, he got second job, sugar mill as accountant. So accountant job. And he was so extremely truthful that one fellow gave money for 60 bags while actually he was supposed to give money for 49 bags. So the Bhaktivinoda Thakur called him back and said that, you have given extra money, so you take it back. So that person was very happy, but the owner was very angry. Are, such an honest person is not meant to be a businessman. You become a teacher. So he threw him out of the job, so, so later, his maternal grandfather, Raja Vallabh Dutt, he called him one day and he sent him message that about to die. From Choti Gram in Odisha, he called him. So he came and met him and he saw that he's fully healthy actually. He is nowhere sick. Why is he saying that about to die? He said, no, actually I'm about to die. In fact, he had a very unique style of working. He was a great Vaishnava, Jagannath's Bhakta. And he used to fast whole day. And at 12 o'clock in the night, he would cook kachodis, and feed Jagannath and then eat nicely kachodis. Of course, we should not take such special. He would cook kachodis and chilies and then eat nicely. So he made 3 predictions to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Within 3 days, I will leave in yogic trance. And second is that at the till age of 27, your career will not be stable. And you will see later, that comes actually. And he also told that you will become a great Vaishnavacharya. So this is the second prediction. of his becoming a great Vaishnava. And then he left actually after 3 days. Hare Krishna. so, whatever he predicted. Age of 19, he got a third job from Chotigram to Cuttack. He came there. Third job he got of standard sixth salary 21, no? Rupees 21. No? Of course, that time rupees 21 was much more according to our current situation. And he brought his family also, but it did not last for 1 year also, that job also. So he had to again move. From Cuttack, he went to Bhadragram. So this was fourth job. Now a headmaster and a salary of 45 rupees. And he also got his first son that time. His name was Annada. No? So he wrote one book that time again. And because he was staying in Odisha, he wrote a book on mutts of Odisha, all the temples of Odisha and how they function and how the glory of the temples actually. Then he came across this, that time Raja Rammohan Rai was also actually in place. Raja Rammohan Rai was this Brahma Samaj. But actually Raja Rammohan Rai's mother was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya. And when Raja Rammohan Rai started speaking some Mayavad kind of stuff, where he is speaking that, Nirakar and all, then actually the mother herself rejected the son, that you are a rascal, you get out, I don't want you. And he would have a very strange prayer. Nirakar tomar charan dekhi. Nirakar tomar charan dekhi. So Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur told, this is a crazy prayer. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur told that we can do mediation, we can talk about it. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was like Viruddha Pasadhanta Dvanta Harine. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur was on the other milder way of trying to just mediate and talk it out, So both had these different flavors. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, this is the first time, because he wanted to mediate with Raja Rammohan Rai, he came across his mother. And his mother told him that actually Lord Chaitanya is a very powerful, special personality. This is the first time he got introduced to Lord Chaitanya. And mother told that if you want to know more about Lord Chaitanya, then you should read Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then the search started about Chaitanya Charitamrita. But Chaitanya Charitamrita, actually there was one Bharatala publisher who wanted to bring all the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in one book. And he had taken all the Apasampradayas, whatever pastime they used to say, and it had become a huge book. So it was very difficult to know which is the bona fide pastime and which is not the bona fide pastime, because it was all a katha of all the Apasampradayas. So then actually he was searching from 1915 to 1930. Actually, he first found after 7-8 years of search the bona fide Chaitanya Charitamrita. Then he profusely published Chaitanya Charitamrita with various versions. With he published. Sorry, this person, kya naam hai? Bharatala publisher. He published many publications. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he found, then he started writing on that. 1861, age 23, his first wife departed. And there was only a 7-month child at that time. So the family said, we cannot maintain this child. You have to marry again. So he married Bhagwati Devi. That was his second marriage. And he got a 7th job of tax collector and clerk near Cuttack. And now in 1864, now age 27. Age 27 means he should now become stable with job life according to the prediction. So this was a turning point. The British government called him. And they told that actually we are very impressed by your kind of disposition. You can either become a clerk with us or store in charge, or if you write one exam, then you can become the district magistrate. So exam he just passed without any effort actually. So he became the district magistrate of Dinajpur. And there he got the association of many devotees actually. So there were 2 devotees especially, Kamal Lochan and Ramananda Vasu. And with them, within 1 year, they would read together and study together. So he studied Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhakti Mala. These 3 books they finished fully studying and scrutinizingly. And then he started writing profusely on Chaitanya Leela. 1868, he wrote another book, Satchidananda Prem Alankar, Life and Teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So 1869, he started giving lot of lectures on Chaitanya philosophy, and he was called for many satsang programs. So he spoke so beautifully that one satsang program, when he spoke, so many people made notes, and that came out as a book called Shrimad Bhagavatam, its philosophy, ethics, and theology. So that came out as a book. In the preface, he writes, from the snowy regions of Himalaya Vedvyas, he is transmitting the heat of Shrimad Bhagavatam, like that. And for Raja Rammohan Roy, he gives a punch there. He says, the train of Raja Rammohan Roy branches off from Ranighat junction of railways, from the barren station of Shankaracharya, and does not meet the great Nadia Express of Lord Chaitanya. And thus, he is not bona fide. Very poetic way of discrediting him. In 1871, he became the district magistrate of Champaran district, and now he met one. He had to deal with the dacoits team, and this dacoit team was very amazing. They had a Brahma Daitya under the control. One Daitya who was under the control of these dacoits. So they will loot all the fellows, villagers and all. And if any witness would be called in the court, then this Brahma Daitya would attack uh, the the witness, and he would say that इन्होंने कुछ भी नहीं किया है, the witness would never tell any problem, and sometimes he would enter the judge only, and he would give nice judgment, so so no one was able to ever prove that they are wrong, because the Daitya would attack. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was very powerful. He first captured all these fellows, and he brought them to the place where Brahma Daitya was there, and there he recited Srimad Bhagavatam for weeks, and the Daitya was driven off actually. So like that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's way of judgment, giving judgments as district magistrate had, spiritual, requirements, Bhagavatam speaking requirements, because without that, Daitya will not go away, no matter what judgments you want to give. And no one can do it except a Vaishnava, And as a district magistrate in Jagannath Puri, he came now in 1871 itself. And he went to the Samadhi Mandir of Haridas Thakur. And there, when he was just taking darshan and all, he got inspired, and he wrote this a very big poem. But one of the couplets is that he reasons ill who says Vaishnavas die when thou art still living in sound. Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread the holy name around. So like that, that is actually in remembrance of Srila Haridas Thakur. He wrote at this time. So he was also being missed by many Bengali people who were earlier getting his services. Even British were missing him. Dhira Dhira Jana Priyo. So they were missing the kind of efficiency and gentlemanly behavior he had. So they wanted him in Bengal, but there were a lot of troubles at this side only to fight against. Like at Jagannath Puri, there was this Bishak Sen. We know about that story, So Bishak Sen would actually be capturing he was a mystic yogi, so he would capture some of the very respectable ladies and exploit them, and he would claim, I am a Mahavishnu incarnation. And when Bhaktivinoda Thakur captured him, he said, see, you are my devotee, and I have told, Name Bhakti Pranishati, so I will not trouble you. You can take me wherever you want. I want to follow, because I'm servant of the devotees, So he was quite in a absorbed avesh. You followed the principle that much, But Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a very strict. Bishak Sen was fasting when he was captured in the jail. For 21 days he was fasting. So even Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's son, he became very sick, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself got a cardiac arrest. And wife was pleading, please let him go, we'll die actually because of this. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, even if my 1,000 generations die, I will not leave this fellow, I have to, And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave him a judgment, and Bishak Sen in the prison, his hair were cut. As soon as his hair were cut, within one day he died only, Yeah. And at Jajpur, then Brahma came up, one fake Brahmaji, So many incarnations were coming, unscheduled incarnations. There are scheduled incarnations, these are unscheduled incarnations. So fake Brahma came. Then next village, one Balramji came. And we know about that Falgu Bhagwan, no? Falgu Bhagwan, he was actually, there also Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually was attacked by his mystic, one fellow, क्या बोलते हैं उसको? and black spirit, black magic, so some dark spirit was thrown on him. But he was reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. That fellow went back and attacked that fake fellow only, Falgu Bhagwan, and got killed. So then in Vrindavan there was one team of dacoits, and they were also very powerful. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur then actually he was called to Vrindavan for finishing these dacoits. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, actually they were so powerful, no one was able to capture them. So there also they were having some mystic program. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur told police, shoot them at sight only. So that way he got that also done. In 1872, he got in Jagannath Puri a bona fide tutor to study in a scholarly way, first time, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So he scrutinizingly studied, and in 1 year he completed 12 cantos with 4 Vaishnava Acharya's commentaries. He completed Shad Sandarbha of Jiva Goswami, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Govind Leelamrit, and Pramay Ratnavali, only in 1 year. And he studied, he didn't read through. And he just didn't buy them. Sometimes we buy only these many books in 1 year. so he read through them scrutinizingly. And this was going on along with this Bishak Sen and all these fellows, all the Brahma, Balaram and all the unscheduled incarnations. So he was dealing with all these fellows, and he read through scrutinizingly all these wonderful commentaries along with that tutor, Gopinath Pandit. In 1874, actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was such a powerful judge. He saw this king of Odisha, king of Puri also, is taking money, 80,000 rupees fine Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave to this king only, that you are taking the money of the temple and all, so you should submit, 80,000 fine. So when 80,000 fine was given, king was very upset. King was so cruel. He did a tantric yajna to kill Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But after 3 days of tantric yajna, the son of the king only got killed, died. So like we heard about that Falgu Bhagwan also. So like that, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's purity was seen by the king, and then he humbly submitted 80,000 rupees. He understood that there is no possibility before this great Vaishnava. In 1874, then Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, seeing the plight of Upper Sampradayas and so much problem, he prayed for a divine son to appear. So that time he got a powerful son, Vimla Prasad, and who is later known as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And when Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur was born, that time the Rath came. We know the pastime where the Rath stood there, and his Bhagavati Devi, his good wife, he took the Vimla Prasad, the son, to the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord's garland fell on Vimla Prasad. Immediately, Bhaktivinoda Thakur understood, this is the divine son I have been praying for, the ray of Vishnu. So this is 1874. And in 1880, then he started writing more Vaishnava literatures. So Sajjan Toshani and Harmonist. Actually, Vaishnava literatures now, this year onwards, there are many. So we are just listing a couple of them. So some magazines he started, and then book Kalyan Kalpataru he wrote, which has 3 aspects: Updesh, Uplabdhi and Uchavas. Updesh means the advice for the sadhakas. Uplabdhi means the attainment of pure devotion service. And Uchavas means the expressions of spiritual emotions. So this Kalyan Kalpataru, he wrote a beautiful book. And then he wrote Krishna Samhita, a book in Sanskrit and Bengali, and he sent it to Rolf Waldo Emerson as a literary work. So he was also impressed, although he could not understand everything because it was in Sanskrit and Bengali. But he said, I have read certain sections of it, and I am very amazed, and you please continue your work in the literary field. Then in 1881, he visited Vrindavan Dham. For 3 months, he could not leave. He got very sick in the beginning only. He wanted to 3 months he wanted to stay there for a good time. But in the beginning only he got sick, and very serious sickness. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur prayed to the Lord that, Lord, I have come here. Whatever I am facing as a sickness is my karma. But right now, you are the Lord of the karma. So you please remove this so that I can associate with the Vaishnavas, do devotion service. Later you give me. So then the sickness went away. And then he got to associate with Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, and he accepted him as Shiksha Guru. And then when he came back to Jessore, back from after 3 months. Then he became very sick again because that prayer. So he delayed karma, So he prayed that you just allow me to do devotion service. Later, give me this. So he got again severe infection. Then this Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. So he has written that Vande Mataram. Actually, that has to be, but something else happened. He did not like this. Jawaharlal Nehru. He did not like the rhythm of Vande Mataram. He said something else should be there. So he said Jana Gana Mana. But that was actually for George V written. Bharat Bhagya Vidhata. But Vande Mataram was written with, for Bharat only. But actually, then finally that was. Anyway, so he had written one book, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, a very powerful writer. He had written a book, Krishna Charita. And he had written all garbage because he had no idea what is Vaishnavism. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur was his good friend. So he told that you are a nice Vaishnava, you give some editing on this book. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur edited 90% of the book. And after that the book came out, he accepted the editing also. And that book came out, and the people criticized that this looks more like a Vaishnava work rather than a literary work. This is not your kind of composition. So he came, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee came to Bhaktivinoda Thakur that people are giving me such allegation. He said, this is the success of your book. This is the proof that people are seeing it as a Vaishnava book. This means you are successful. So later, when in 1886, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote Rasik Ranjan Bhashya, so a commentary on the Bhagavad Gita. He wrote many, many commentaries. So using Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary, he had written one book. And this preface was given by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. So people would come with the book and say, "Arey Bankim Chandra Chatterjee ka isme preface hai." So many copies were distributed and Vaishnavism spread because of this commentary of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur based on the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And in 1886, he had a strong desire to now write many books, for which he said, no press can compete with my situation. So he opened his own press, Chaitanya Press. And he exploded, book writing in 1 year. How many books he wrote? I'm just reading, Bhagavad Gita with commentary of 4 Acharyas, Chaitanya Shikshamrit, Amrit Prabha Bhashya, commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrit, commentary of Vishnu Sahasranam based on Baldev Vidya Bhushan, Sambodhini Bhashya, Prem Pradeep, and then like that 20 books he wrote in 1 year only, And so much intellectual work he did that he got a serious headache. So whenever he went to the doctor that, sir, please cure my headache. They said, this is a very special headache. It's an intellectual headache. We cannot help it. It's a scholarly headache. We don't know what is the, So Bhaktivinoda Thakur found his own solution. He applied ghee there, and he said, Jeev Goswami is the person who wrote 4 lakh verses. So he's the Acharya of scholarly work. I'll pray to him that I am getting headache out of scholarly work. So please, whatever you desire. So he prayed to Jeev Goswami, next day headache was over. Special doctor, Jeev Goswami, Dr. Jeev Goswami. In 1887, so this earlier thing was 1886, Chaitanya Press thing, 1 year. In 1887, Yogpit thing. 1887, he was awarded in 1887 by the Society of Vaishnavas the title Bhaktivinoda for his great work in the realm of bhakti. And then he was transferred to Rampur, but Rampur is not the place he wanted to be. He wanted to be in Navadvip Dham because he wanted to find the place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he talked to the district magistrate in Krishnanagar, and he told that, you come here, I go there, Hare Krishna. So he reached to Krishnanagar, and for 45 days he got serious malaria there. He was almost at deathbed, but he took only milk and medicines, and then he was cured. So now he was searching for the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, because everyone was claiming, ye hamara hi jagah hai, Navadvip, yehi hamara, yehi Yogpit hai. So he was staying at Rani Dharamshala with his son Bimla Prasad. So he was citing the maps, and also not Google Maps, citing the old maps of Navadvip Dham, and he was also reading the scriptures to understand exactly where Lord Chaitanya was born. So one night he saw a light, and he called Bimla Prasad. So do you see that light? Very bright light was coming from one side. He said, yeah, I'm seeing that light, very bright light. And then he called his servant. He said, "You're seeing that light?" He said, "No." Then he understood this is divine light, because only my spiritual son is seeing it. So he understood this is coming from a special place. And when he went there, he saw that only Tulsi is growing. In fact, it was under Muslim people. And they were saying, we are trying to remove Tulsi, but nothing grows except Tulsi here. So he understood this is a very special place. And then he also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he found a reference. Navadvipe madhye Mayapur namasthan yathai janmile Gaurachandra Bhagwan. So he felt that he's getting a confirmation from the scripture also on this. And he finally got Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who was very, very old. Some people say 120 years, some say 125. And he was practically in the basket, and his servant would carry him. But when he came to that place, he immediately jumped up very high, although he could not even lift his eyelids. But here he jumped so high. Ye to amar nimai janmasthan. Then it was a confirmation. This is actually the birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. And then many people were protesting. नहीं, हमारा जगह है, ये मतलब our place is Yogpit. Because they wanted the proprietary over Yogpit. So, but then Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted to make a beautiful temple there. So when they were digging the ground, then they got the Adhokshaja deity, which was being Adhokshaja Vishnu deity, which was worshipped by Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi. So that was the archaeological proof. So scriptural proof, spiritual proof, archaeological proof, and empirical proof from the maps. So by 4 proofs, he proved this is Yogpit. And so this is a very, very important contribution of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And in 1889 to 91, in 2 years, he went out to preach like anything. And he had 2 associates also, very dear associates, Ram Seva and Sitanath Mahapatra. So he toured all over Bengal and Odisha, and he opened 500 Namahantas in 2 years. Each attended by 2,000 people. So kitna ho gaya? 500 into 2,000 is 10 lakh. 10 lakh people in 2 years. One time. And he gave discourses, prasadam, huge kirtan, everything would happen there. So he very powerfully preached. And he that time gave a blueprint of the Bhakti Vriksha model, how Bhakti Vriksha should grow. So Godruma Kalpatavi book is there. No? And then Navdeep Dham Pracharini Sabha was made. And that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur went door to door to ask for 1 rupee. So seeing that 1 rupee wala system only, Shri Guru Jabu had opened a 2,000 rupee square feet. Because that time 1 rupee is like 2,000 rupees today. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually wanted to make a temple, and at the Yogpit. For that, he wanted everyone to donate, everyone to be a contributor to the construction of that temple. Later, in 1895, it was actually opened. The temple was opened in March 1895 on the Gaur Purnima, and Gaur Vishnu Priya deities were installed. It was a grand 7-day festival. And in 1896, he sent out that book, Life and Precepts of Lord Chaitanya. He sent out to Canada, first time into the Western world, a book on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings was sent. So this was also the birth year of Srila Prabhupada. So Srila Prabhupada was asked once by Achyutananda Swami that, why sent only book? He could have done preaching like, you are doing. So Prabhupada said that he left for me. He could have done the entire thing, but something he left for us also to do. In 1901, he wrote one amazing book, Srimad Bhagavad Arka Marihi Mala. So he was getting inspiration in the heart that actually a lot of pastimes are there, but we should make a help to appreciate things in Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan. 3 sections. So he was praying like that, and then he got Sarup Damodar Goswami, Lord Chaitanya's associate. He got in the dream, and he said, I was wanting this way a book where Sambandha Abhidaya Prayojan Bhagavatam is described. And I was getting this inspiration, now you are getting it, you should write this book actually. So that time he wrote this book. And then in 1910, he started residing at Swananda Sukhad Kunj, and actually he told Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj that I need Babaji Vesh now. It was on his ending pastimes. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur asked Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj, give me Babaji Vesh. But then Babaji Vesh, Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj would consider him as his Shiksha Guru, because he would take inspiration from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He said, you are telling me to become your Guru, but you are worthy to be the Guru of the entire Brahmanda. You know? But he said, no, you have to give me shelter of your feet. So Gaur Kishore Babaji Maharaj, by this persistent desire of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, started running away from him. Here, there he would hide. And Gaur Kishore Bhaktivinoda Thakur would send his servants to find where is Babaji. And finally, one day Bhaktivinoda Thakur only somehow found him, and then he, clasped his feet and told that you have to give me, shelter of your feet. So then he took Babaji Vesh from Gaurkishore Babaji Maharaj. And then he goes into his bhajan till 1914. And in 1914, on a very auspicious day of Gadadhar Pandit's disappearance, and also just the day before Rath Yatra, where it is the Gundicha Marjan day. So that day he left from this world for the spiritual world to again serve as Kamal Manjari or wherever the Lord wants. So his literary work, maybe I can read first the schedule of his. So how did he write? No, first we can read some of the books. I can just quickly read some of the books, and then I will quickly read the schedule of his. So he started writing in 1849, Ula Chandi Mahatmya. So Chandi Devi ka Mahatmya. No? Then 1850, Hari Katha. And 1850 again, Leela Kirtan. 1851, Shumba Nishumbha Yuddha. That means the battle between Shumba and Nishumba. 1855, he contributed many articles to various periodicals. 1857, Poriad, that Porus, King Porus, with Alexander the Great. So 1857 and 58, he wrote 2 parts to this. 1860, Mutts of Odisha. 1863, Vigyan Gram. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes of his return to the beautiful village of Ula Gram and how it was completely wiped out. 1863, he wrote a poem called Sannyasi. 1863, he also wrote a prose called Our Wants. 1866, when he wrote Ballad Registry, a manual of government registration department translated by Thakur Bhaktivinoda Thakur into Urdu. 1866, Speech on Gautama, a lecture in English about Gautam Muni and his philosophy of Nyaya. 1868, Satchidananda Prema Alankar, which is a decoration of pure ecstatic love comprising eternity, knowledge and bliss. A poem on the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 1869, the Bhagavad, its philosophy, ethics and theology, based on a lecture, it was transcribed. Garbha Stotra Vakya, 1870, which is commentary in Bengali prose on Garbha Stotra, which is from the 10th canto, the glorification of Lord by the demigods. 1871, Reflections, a poem in English. Again, another one, Thakur Haridas, he wrote on 10 English version, Thakur Haridas. Temple of Jagannath at Puri, again, another English prose. 1871, another Akhadas in Puri. Even Akhadas in Puri were getting shelter of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay, then 1871, The Personality of Godhead, he wrote another English prose. Saragrahi, again a poem. A Beacon Light, a prose. All this 1871 only. To Love God. The Attibaris of Odisha. So, this is about pseudo Vaishnavas in Odisha. So, Attivaris in Odisha. Then marriage system in Bengal. So, all this happened in 1871. 1872, Vedanta Adhika Karan Mala. And 1874, Datta Kaustubam. 1876, Datta Vamshamala. Datta Vamshamala is his own family lineage. He was writing so profusely, so his family members said, "Arey, हमारे family पे भी कुछ लिख दो." So he wrote a Datta Vamshamala. So 1878, Bauddha Vijay Kavyam, which is on the defeat of Buddhism, and Shri Krishna Samhita, which is on Lord Krishna's Leelas. And then Kalyan Kalpataru, which is an important composition in 1881, Desire Tree of Auspiciousness. Then Sajjan Toshini, already we said. Nitya Rupa Samsthapanam. So this is actually a composition by Upendra Mohan Goswami, and he translated it it was in Sanskrit, it was translated by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and it talks about Lord's eternal form, the proof of Lord's eternal form and how deity worship is bona fide. And then he wrote a very important one, Vishwa Vaishnav Kalpatavi. This is the first one which he is telling about how International Society for Krishna Consciousness should come up. The desire tree of the international Vaishnavas. You know? Srimad Bhagavad Gita, so he wrote many commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Shri Chaitanya Shikshamrit, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. So this is 1886 going on. Huh? San Modan Bhashyam, commentary that gives great pleasure. So this was on Shikshashtakam. And then 1886 Bhajan Darpan Bhashya. And then again Dash Upanishad Churnika, a particle of dust from the 10 Upanishads. And Bhavavali, a series of ecstasies. Prema Pradeep, lamplight of divine love. Vishnu Sahasranam, on the commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan, he further wrote. Shri Krishna Vijay, Lord Krishna's victory, a Bengali epic written in simple style on the pastimes of Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Upanishad, of the Atharva Veda. Then Vaishnav Siddhanta Mala, garland of Vaishnav conclusions. And then Amnaya Sutram, a classic Sanskrit composition based on largely the Upanishads, presented as 130 aphorisms. So it goes on. Shri Navdeep Dham Mahatmya, two books in 1890. Siddhanta Darpanam, another in 1890. Then Srimad Bhagavad Gita, another commentary. Shri Godrum Kalpatavi, 1891. Shri Harinam, 1892. Shri Nam, 1892. Shri Nam Tattva Shikshashtakam. Shri Nam Mahima. Shri Nam Prachar. Shriman Mahaprabhu Shiksha. Tattva Vivek. And then Shoka Satana. Shoka Satana. And then Sharnagati. Now 1893 Sharnagati, that song book. And Gitavali and Gitamala. Baula Sangeet. To condemn the Baulas, the Upper Sampradayas, he wrote in Baula way of singing, Sangeet which would condemn Baula only, No? Then Dalilar Geet, that means the song of the broker, like Bado Sukkar Khabar guy, that kind. Nama Bhajan, Jaiv Dharma, this was a very important contribution, which is many important tattvas. Tattva Sutram. I'm just reading for auspiciousness. Okay. I think we'll just... So he wrote many books. I'll read the schedule because without schedule we should not end the class. So 8 to 10 p.m. in the night, he wrote so many books, how he'll write. 8 to 10 p.m. he took 2 hours rest. 10 to 4, which is our prime rest time, he used to write the books. 6 hours. 4 to 4:30 rest. 4:30 to 7 intense japa. And then 7 to 7:30 correspondences. Writing. 7:30 to 9:30 study Shastras. 9:30 to 10 he would take bath, prasadam, and his prasadam was also fixed. Half liter milk, fruit, and 2 chapatis. So 9:30 to 10 bath and prasadam both are over. 10 a.m. actually 9:55 he used to leave for the court sharp. That means 9:30 to 9:55 only is the bathing and taking prasadam. And 9:55 he will leave to the court. And 10 o'clock he reaches office. For his efficiency, the British had made a special rail. I think he's the only personality in the entire world. Even for Queen Elizabeth, not come like that. For the only personality for whom a private railway line was made, and railway till quite late it was there. Now they have removed that railway line. But actually it is an amazing thing for one personality. A railway line was laid so that he can stay at Sananda Sukhat Kunj and go for the court also. So he would, at court duties, he was so powerful, he would finish the court in 5 minutes. 5 minutes he would hear, 2 minutes he would write judgment, 7 minutes case is over. What ordinary fellows would take 2 hours. And actually later, in this 1908, one of the powerful Western judge called him that actually we were seeing how powerfully you are able to do judgments, and we were so much, I was envious of you actually, and I made lot of plots to kill you, but you never got killed only. So So somehow, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I never knew you were doing all that, And then he begged forgiveness that now, as Christians, we have a philosophy that when we are actually leaving, so that time we should beg forgiveness from whomever we did offenses. So I beg forgiveness from you because I did a lot of offense to you. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur gave him blessings actually. So 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock court duties, 1 to 2 refresh at home, 2 to 5 again court duties. 5 to 7 translate Sanskrit Shastras in Bengali. So again writing work further. And 7 to 8 bath, prasadam, again half-liter milk, rice and 2 chapatis. Now instead of fruit, rice. And so summary daily schedule, 3 hours of sleep, writing work for 8.5 hours, japa and study for 4.5 hours, and work for 6 hours. Hari Bol. So this is Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And we can only bow down to such a schedule and also the contributions, and we are just we seek the blessings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur that we can do our humble part in this great mission that he actually resurrected from almost being dead, where Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings were lost from the world. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur actually established it again by his very ardent but very arduous efforts. And Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur also, he had to also fight a lot of wars. You know that story of the Brahmana versus Vaishnava, I think. So when Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted to establish, even Brahmanas were opposing Vaishnavism. So Smartha Brahmanas. So then a lot of, they fought a lot of battles in India that way, of all the cultural problems which had come up because of wrong understanding of the teachings. So we seek the prayers of Bhaktivinoda Thakur that we can actually live our part in his divine mission. Srila Prabhupada actually said that the blueprint of ISKCON was given by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur only. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur established in India Gaudiya Math, and he's just putting it in for the entire world. So Srila Prabhupada is establishing what the great acharyas actually have given. The international society which Bhaktivinoda Thakur was talking, when he predicted that actually from all over the planet, different people will come, Europeans and Americans, everyone come, Bhaktivinoda Thakur predicts. That Srila Prabhupada did through his hard efforts. So we are very blessed that under these wonderful acharyas we are studying and practicing Krishna consciousness. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna.